I'm alive. Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to the Friday night show. I hope you're all doing well. One of my favourite shows of the week. I mean, I enjoy them all, but it is the Friday night show. We've got lots to get into tonight. I want to talk about fake news because there is a few stories floating around that we're not in for Mason Mount, that we're not in for Declan Rice, and I can tell you that we are, which puts me head to head with some journalists that are very close to Manchester United. So, you know, look, respect that, but they're wrong. Also, we're going to talk about the sale. There is no sale news. Surprise, surprise, it's not come in. It's dead silent. I've been waiting all day. I've been messaging people. Then they're saying, I don't know. I mean, I might get an exclusive at 9 o'clock tonight, but I don't know whether I will. Is that good news or bad news for Manchester United? We'll talk about that. Newcastle have got Scott McTominay on their shortlist. I mean, that's good news. I think interest in players that we might want to sell. Let's not say definitely sell, but it's always good to have interest in Manchester United players as well. So lots to get into on the show tonight. I hope you're all doing well. And let's get into it. Let's get into it. My live chat's not working for some reason. It's completely it's complete. Oh, here we go. There we go. So I'll start off on the news. And don't forget, it is a Friday night show, so get your questions in a little bit later. But let's go. It's Friday night. I love it. Different vibe on a Friday night. Apologies. I'm not going to apologise for the different vibe on a Friday night. So, on the sale, look, don't shoot the messenger. We just react to the news sometimes, and I think it was Tuesday, the Independent said that it could come out on Friday, what's going to happen about the sale, or at some point over the weekend. 2 + 2 = Matic, and we thought, well, it must be something to do with Champions League qualification. The reality is that it doesn't, and it never has felt like Manchester United. Oh, he wants the red lights on, says Ken. Why, is that because you're off somewhere later? Does your mother know? He's off to the red light district, isn't he? I don't know. But I don't know what that means, but there we go. Let's get the red lights on. But look, it's never felt like... I like the red light zone. I like the red light, sorry. Do you reckon the Glazers forgot that they're actually meant to be selling the club, says Dan B. I mean, look, on the sale, I await news like everybody else. It's going to be big news when it comes out, but I still have a multitude of theories. One theory is they'll go with Sir Jim and Althani will ring them up and say there's another $500 million. One theory is that they're waiting for the season to be over so that they can announce that they're staying with Sir Jim and there'll be no protests. There's loads of theories as to why it could go right or wrong. I don't know. Mark, I'm hearing that Williams is playing on the wing on Sunday and he's being loaned out for next season, says Chikorita. I forgot to play Twitch today. I'm going to get really in trouble. Do you reckon I've done that one as well. I heard Arsenal were looking at Jota, says Felix. Don't care about Arsenal. This is not the Arsenal stand. This is the United stand. And yeah, so look, I think that with regards to the sale, I don't really want to dwell on it, and I don't think anybody wants to dwell on it. I mean, there is just no indication about where this is going to go. And I still have this horrible, sick feeling that I don't want on a Friday night that the Glazers will stay and work with Sir Jim. I still put myself in that position of what can I imagine happening? And I can imagine Sir Jim Radcliffe as the owner of Manchester United. I can't really imagine Althani as the owner of Man United. That doesn't mean I'm right or wrong on that. You know what I want. I want a full sale and I want the Glazers out. But... you know, it'd just be bloody typical that they stay. So we just have to wait and see. And look, maybe over the weekend, it is a bank holiday weekend in the UK, which means Monday is basically like a Sunday. Who knows? Who knows? We're overdue some news. And I know for a fact that journalists who've been very close to this have desperately been trying to get some update over the last few days. So maybe we'll get something. Stephen says, if the Glazers are waiting till the end of the season, why do they put out so many false deadlines, says Stephen? Well... They're selfish, greedy people. And effectively, they will protect themselves. And I think that the success of what Ten Hag's done this season may make them want to stay. But I think Joel and Avram want to stay anyway. I've always been worried by the ponytailed one going to FA Cup finals and Carabao Cup finals, and no doubt he'll be there next week as well. What's that all about? I love the show, as always. Is no sale better than partial sale, says Rezwan? No. It's a great question, actually. I've never been asked that. Would you rather have full sale to Althani, no sale, stay with the Glazers, or partial sale, go with Sir Jim? And the honest answer is, only full sale will make me happy. But a partial sale is better than the Glazers. It is, but I don't want it, and I don't know why we should settle for it. Hi Mark, do you think we could use Casemiro as part exchange in the Kane deal? You're an idiot, Dustin. I wish it was Christmas, because you'd be on my dinner table. Not as a guest as well. Don't you think trees are arrogant as well? I was thinking this today. I was down the pub this afternoon. I thought, trees are bloody arrogant, aren't they? They're there, and I don't know whether you've ever seen the end of Afterlife with Ricky Gervais and his dog. And he's walking across this field, and the dog disappears, and then Ricky Gervais disappears. And it's very, very profound, because it means that the field and the trees will live on for years beyond the dog and the person. And it depressed me, because I thought, aren't trees arrogant? They just stand there like, oh, look at us, we give you oxygen. And they'll be here longer than us, most of them. But not if an axe comes along. But trees are arrogant. If we can somehow compete well in the Premier League and the Champions League next season, do you think we'll be in the running for Mbappe, says Lucas? We'll never get Mbappe unless we get Qatari ownership. Hi, today is my darling Gemma's birthday. Please say happy birthday to Gemma. What do you think of Camavinga, Paulinho, Savic for United, says MM? I think you're dreaming, but happy birthday to Gemma. Anyway, let's go back. I really want to get into this tonight, because I don't know whether you've and I've got to give a shout out to Pip, because he sent me some of this stuff as well. Is it Sir Jim's management of Nice a concern for his fans? Also, who do you think should be captain next year, says Servin? Casemiro would be a good captain. How many times did you tear up watching Afterlife, says Jack? I want to watch it again. I really do enjoy it. I do want to watch it again, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Right. Let me just say this. If you've been keeping your ear to the ground on the transfer news today, there are two stories that you might have noticed. One of them, Arsenal still favourites to get Declan Rice, and they're prepared to bid in June. Not true. Another one, Man United not serious about Mason Mount. Not true. Now, I'm not going to name the people where this has come from, because I haven't actually listened to the podcasts. But apparently there's a couple of people who do a podcast, separate podcasts, who've said that they don't believe Man United are in for Mason Mount, and it feels like it's an angle from Mason Mount to get a new deal at Chelsea. Not true. Asensio has refused to renew his contract, Mark, says Farrell. Well, I don't want Asensio. I don't want Asensio. I've never thought Asensio was amazing. To me, it feels like Asensio's been sat on Real Madrid's bench for about a decade. And everyone never shuts up about Asensio and Isco. And they're just bench players as far as I'm concerned for Real Madrid. I mean, give me Vinicius Junior and we'll talk. I don't want Asensio. Jog on. Go somewhere else. I don't want Asensio. If of course, if Ten Hag wants Asensio, I'll back him. I'll back my manager. Hi, Mark. Side note, are you coming to Euston? No, Abraham, I'm not. I wish I was. I'm not. I move on from it because I'm disappointed, but I'm not. United are literally going from New York to Euston and then to the East Coast, West Coast really quickly. I want to go somewhere where I can spend a few days there, and I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to Euston. He didn't back him when he wanted Arnautovic, but that was political, Ernie. I don't want a player who'd said the things he'd done. That's up to me. And also, if we'd signed Arnautovic, I would have had to back it, but I can put my reservations there. But ultimately, as I always say, if United sign a player, I will give them a chance, because that's what you should do. Anyway, let me get into this. So there are a couple of stories out there about Mason Mount. I want to talk about Douglas Costa as well, because that's complete and utter nonsense. There is a story out there about Douglas Costa and Man United scouting him, and they need money at Porto, so Man United might buy him. Bollocks. And more bollocks. Man United are not in for Costa. They haven't got the money to go for Costa. They cannot spend what they need to spend on two midfielders, a centre-back and a striker, and then spend 50 million on Costa. They can't afford it. They do like him, and that's no doubt at all. I'm not talking about the Wolves striker. I think I've mispronounced it. I'm talking about the Porto goalkeeper. He is not... people think we're signing Wolves striker now. I told you Friday night was show. I'm not apologising. What did I say at the start of the show? There's no apologies in here. You won't get one. You won't get an apology on a Friday night. So the Costa goalkeeper at Porto, we've been linked to him. We won't be getting him. He's too bloody expensive. and that is from a really good source. That's from my neighbour John, who said, where would we get the money from? And he's right. Thoughts on Ziyech? Would you have him at United, says Tevin? No, I don't want Chelsea players that aren't good enough. Mark, do you find it suspicious Dave hasn't renewed when his contract expires at the end of June? Surely it would have been agreed by now, says Joshua. I don't know. Unless something happens on Sunday for De Gea, he ain't leaving, is he? You can't let him leave like that. Luap says, I'm 19. I've never really seen United winning a Champions League. I hope I can see this one time, but definitely not with Glazers, only with Qatar. Thank you, mate. Thanks for your super chat. So I was talking about the Costa story. That's a load of nonsense. We haven't got the money to do that. But in relation to Mason Mount, there's a few Man United journalists saying that they don't think it's serious. They've not heard anything serious about it. They think that we're just being used for a new contract. And remember I said that at the start of the week. With the Neymar story, it could be Neymar wanting a new contract. It could be PSG wanting to sell him. It could be Neymar trying to stir up some news. Who knows? But what I can tell you about the Mason Mount story is, it is true. It is true. Manchester United want Mason Mount, and they've spoken to Mason Mount, and it is very serious. Mason Mount is seriously considering Manchester United, and we are the favourites. He might end up staying at Chelsea because they've got a new manager who might be able to persuade him. But if he stays at Chelsea, that's not because Manchester United weren't interested. Categorically, take it to the bank, Manchester United have approached Mason Mount and do want him. It's a true story. People can say, oh, it's not true, and they can say, oh, they were right when he stays at Chelsea, but he is a Chelsea player. I admittedly would say, to me, Mason Mount is, it's a weird one. Like, it's like Man United selling Rashford to Arsenal. It doesn't make sense, but that's Chelsea's problem. It's not ours. I think there is a chance he could stay at Chelsea, but I don't think he'll go anywhere else other than Man United. I don't think he's going to go Liverpool or Arsenal, the way things lie at the moment. United have made a play for him. Ten Hag really likes him, and he's seriously considering Manchester United. So that story is true. Whether you want to believe that, that's up to you, but it is true. And I know it's true. I know it from very good sources it's true. And they're not Man United sources. So as I've told you before, I have good sources around Chelsea. It's weird, but I do. And that's why I know they're going to go all in for Osimhen. That's why I knew they were going. That's why I knew they got. I knew they were getting Sterling before most people knew. And I know that Mason Mount is seriously considering leaving Chelsea, and I know that he's seriously considering coming to Manchester United. But look, he might stay at Chelsea because ultimately he's a Chelsea player and they've got a new manager. But we are very seriously in for him. Very seriously. How can McAllister be about to sign for Liverpool while we're talking to Mount? I like Ten Hag, but he can't do this. It's HKN, I don't know. I don't know how we're speaking to Mount and we're not speaking to McAllister. I don't know. Maybe McAllister wants to go to Liverpool. I don't know. Maybe McAllister's more expensive. We'll find out. We need to keep Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof, and Asensio is 10 times better than Mason Mount, if you ask me. But a player we need is João Felix. I agree with you on that, Leo. And do you see us going for any Leicester players if they're relegated? They have a fair few midfielders. I wouldn't go near a Leicester player. Would you go near any Leicester player? I don't think Maddison's better than Mount. I'm not. I've never been interested in Maddison massively. There's something about Maddison. I just don't think he. I definitely thought he deserved to go to the World Cup, and I thought at that time he was playing brilliantly. But I don't think Maddison is better than Mount. Really, I don't think Maddison's got the defensive case. I think Mount's a better all rounder. I think Mount is better in the press from the front than Maddison, and I think that's very important to Ten Hag. And I think if you spoke to Ten Hag, he'd tell you Mount's better than Maddison as well. If we'd sorted our offence with a proper striker and a more creative winger, we wouldn't talk about replacing David. We need to score more goals, says Elliot. So first things first, we are in for Mason Mount. I think there's two options here. He'll stay at Chelsea or he'll come to Manchester United. But I know for a fact that Chelsea's shambolic season around transfers has pissed off a lot of people. I mean, especially in and around the Mason Mount position, they just can't stop buying attacking midfielders, and it's disrupted. It's been very disruptive. So whether you want Mason Mount or not, I actually do want him now. I think it's very obvious that Erik Ten Hag wants him, and I want Ten Hag to get what he wants. So I would like us to get hold of him, definitely. In relation to Declan Rice, there was a story, I think this afternoon or early evening, that Arsenal are still leading that race. They're not leading that race. That race is very seriously entered by Manchester United. I would be very surprised if Declan Rice ended up going to Arsenal now. I almost feel it's Chelsea or Manchester United, and Chelsea might not even be in for Declan Rice. So I think from what I'm hearing and what people are telling me, Declan Rice to Manchester United, if we've got the money, is a very, very serious option. Yeah, I do. I do. I think that could really. I think we could see a situation where Mason Mount and Declan Rice end up at Manchester United, and I'd keep an eye on that. I would keep an eye on that. Would you sign Mitrovic as a backup number 9, as United have? Well, look, that leads me on to the next point. I don't know whether you heard it today. Somebody said to me that there is no chance in the world that Man United will get Harry Kane, Mason Mount and Declan Rice. But Mark says Fabrizio said Arsenal are leading the Rice deal. I can only go from what I was told today, and that's not what I was told. So look, Fabrizio's a legend, as we know, but he did also say that other people were in the race. Yeah, no human says vacation in Houston, and I'm from Texas, says Kevin. Thank you very much. We sort of caught it on the morning show a little bit, didn't we? Maguire and McTominay plus cash for Rice, maybe, says Bobby. And Maddison does everything with the ball better than Mount. Mount is like Bruno without the output, says HKN. Yeah, but Mason Mount can't defend for his bloody life. If he could put a tackle in, Leicester probably wouldn't be in the relegation zone. He's an attacking midfielder. He doesn't get his foot in. Mount does. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not arguing with you, HKN. Argue with Ten Hag. He wants Mount. He doesn't want Maddison. So, maybe he'll go for Maddison if he can't get Mount, but at the moment he wants Mount. 100 million for Bellingham really seems to be a bargain, says Anshul. And we need to stop buying leftovers from rivals. Kane, Mount, what are we? Arsenal says, well, I wouldn't describe Harry Kane or Mason Mount as leftovers. I mean, Chelsea desperately want to keep Mason Mount now, and Spurs definitely want to keep Harry Kane. United was supposed to be announcing the next quarter's financial results any day now ahead of the end of June. Wonder if that's holding up things, says Glennie. No, I thought that was in June, mate. And none of Erik Ten Hag's signings are flops in their first season, which is a first for United, so we should trust any of his targets, says Michael Spain. Look, the Harry Kane story was really interesting today. And I know we spoke about it on the morning show, but what I can tell you, and I probably should have told you at the start of the video, the striker that Man United are focusing on is Ramos at Benfica. That's the striker. I mean, I nearly asked for that for the thumbnail, but I was too busy drinking in the garden. But Ramos is the player that Man United are looking at if they don't get Kane from Benfica. I don't know how deal that I don't remember the last time we did with what was the last deal we did with Benfica? Was it Lindelof? I'm sure we got Lindelof from Benfica. I don't know what our relationship is like with Benfica, but that's the striker we're looking at if we don't get Harry Kane. Now, I don't believe we're not going to get Harry Kane. I just think United have to be grown up about it. And I know it was reported by the Manchester Evening News this morning, but I actually think that story was very, slow sports news in a way, because we've been talking about it on here for months. If you know Spurs are going to make it hard for you, you've got to leave the deal early. And that's basically what United are doing. However, when I spoke to somebody this afternoon, what they said to me is Man United are playing a game. Everybody's playing a game here. Costa to Man United from Porto. That's nothing to do with interest from Man United. That's to do with new contracts, trying to force a move, trying to generate interest. Kane, Man United saying they're going to walk away from Kane early, is Man United basically threatening Spurs and Kane. They're basically saying to Kane, we can't wait around. We're not going to wait around. Man City did that 2 years ago and you ended up staying at Spurs. So what Man United are doing is they're basically playing a game. They're basically saying to Spurs and Kane, look, there's a good chunk of money here. There's a good wage here. We will pay it, but we won't wait till August to do it. So either get your bloody skates on or crack on where you are. And that's basically what it is. So I wouldn't rule out Man United getting Harry Kane yet, but what I would say is it's very unlikely, because I think Daniel Levy is terrified of selling Harry Kane after such a bad season. They desperately want to keep him, but he's only got 1 year left on his deal, so they'll lose him for nothing next year unless Harry Kane signs a new contract. And if he does, fair play. Hi Mark, I love the show. I'd be interested to see how much Milan want for Tomori. English and has a good season for Milan. Yeah, Goober, I think he does need to come back to England, but I don't know. I've not heard of anybody being interested in him. Is it true Madrid might go for Kane? Heard it on TalkSport today, says Leo J. Michael Spain, welcome to the Members Club. Well, Harry Kane doesn't want to leave the Premier League because he doesn't want to not break his Premier League record. So I'd be stunned if Harry Kane left. Bayern Munich are interested in Harry Kane. Real Madrid have had an interest in Harry Kane, but he doesn't want to break his Premier League. He wants to break the Premier League record. We need to look at someone younger than Kane, otherwise we'll be in for a striker in the market after 2-3 years, says Anshul. And Mark, what do you think about the under-18 Dutch midfielder? I don't know who it is, fake name. And happy birthday to our moderator Sally, says Renate. Yes, and Renate, I feel bad because it was in my head, but I didn't write any notes tonight to say happy birthday. So can I get a big shout out to Sally, Devil Red 7, one of our moderators, legend of the chat. Let's get a happy birthday to Sally. Yeah, the moderators do a great job with you lot. And yeah, happy birthday to Sally. Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, just going back to that then, I think we've discussed more than enough about Harry Kane and what the problems are. And I think United are threatening Spurs and Kane. Look, if Harry Kane on Monday comes out with a interview saying, I want to leave Spurs, I've given them everything. Look, if I was Harry Kane and I wanted to leave for Man United, this is what I would do on Monday morning. I would do an interview with me and I would say, Goldbridge, I'm Harry Kane. I want to leave. I'm not going to do the voice. I want to leave Spurs. This is what I'd say if I was Harry Kane, actually. I'd say, look, with a heavy heart, I've been thinking about this for a while. With a heavy heart, I want to leave Spurs. I'm Spurs through and through. I'm a Spurs fan. But this club cannot match the ambitions of me or the fans. I'm 30 years of age. I've been here since I was a kid. I've given this club everything. And I want to win things, and it's very clear to me that I can either stay at Spurs and finish my career here, or I can try and win things. I only have one career, and when it's over I'll be back on the terraces watching Spurs, but I have to try and win things in the limited time I've got left. I don't want to leave Spurs. I've been trying for years, hoping that they would match my ambitions and match the ambitions of these great fans, but they won't. And I haven't got time to hang around, not playing in the Europe and not challenging for trophies. So I want to leave. And if they don't let me leave this summer, I will be leaving for free next summer. And I'd just do it in that way, and I'd throw it onto Levy and then see what happens. But I don't think he will do that. I don't think he will. It's a brave person who does that. I don't think he will do that. And I think if he did that, then, maybe you'd get the move. I don't know. Zane gifted a membership. Thank you, Zane. Hope you're doing well. Michael Spain, we've done you. Thank you for all the birthday wishes, says Sally. Legend. Mark, how much could we get in the kitty for Mason if we sell him? If he's not wanted, we could get plenty on him, surely, says Mandy. I'll talk about that in a minute because it's a good question. But yeah, in relation to Kane, let's just wait and see. Sounds like it won't happen. But the striker that United want, if they don't get Harry Kane, is Ramos from Benfica. Let's wait and see. I know I want Osimhen. He's going to Chelsea. That's what I was told. But I want Osimhen. Whether United would go from Kane to Osimhen, I don't know. Remember, Man United want Kim Min-jae. I think it's ridiculously unlikely that we'll get two players out of Napoli. I don't think we get Osimhen. I don't even think we'll try for Osimhen. So, that could change on the ownership, admittedly. If we get a full sale, that could change. But remember, United are looking at targets now. We're looking at Mason Mount. We're looking at Declan Rice. We're looking at Kim Min-jae. The striker we're looking for is Ramos at this moment in time if we don't get Harry Kane. Ferguson and Højlund are both players that Ten Hag likes, but they're not ready to be a number 9 next season for Man United. And he wants an out-and-out striker. What are my thoughts on Ramos? I haven't seen... You know what? Hands up, probably for the first time, I haven't really seen a lot of him. I don't watch Benfica. I saw a couple of their Champions League games because they did quite well. Obviously, I saw him in the World Cup, but I haven't seen enough of him that I'd go, yeah, he's the answer. I've got to be honest. Normally I have an opinion. I don't know. I don't know what you think. I don't know what I think about Ramos if United get Ramos. But what I will say is, although he's the number 2 after Harry Kane, it doesn't mean we'll get him. Benfica can drive a hard bargain, so we might end up having to go down the list. Kane, Rice, Mount, all after the FA Cup final, says Deepak. And Jamesy's gifted 5 memberships. You're a legend, Jamesy. And also is Mojo. Mojo's done it as well. Thanks, Mojo. You're a legend as well. Zane says, happy birthday, Sally, but hope City win the FA Cup. Rice and Casido is ours, plus Gundogan. Zane, why do you want Man City to win the FA Cup? They embarrassed you in the league. You should want us to win. What about McTominay and Isaac swap with Newcastle? Never going to happen. Never going to happen, Darren. And Man City will win the next 5 Premier Leagues if we don't get Qatar. Maybe Newcastle could challenge them. No Qatar would be a disaster, says Lou. Release clause for Ramos is apparently 120 million euros. Look, we're buying a striker. We're buying a striker. We know that. Manchester United are going to buy a striker. Who will it be? I want it to be Osimhen. I don't think it will be. Some of you want Kane. It sounds like that will be very difficult. Will we go for Ramos? That could be very difficult as well. I mean, where do we go? I mean, I'm interested. If we don't get Kane and we don't get Osimhen, I'm interested to where we go, because Ramos will cost a lot of money. And I don't want to spend £100 million on Kane, but I definitely don't want to spend £100 million on Ramos. So, McAllister and Casido, why aren't we going for both, says Manoj? I don't know. Just going back to, I'd love Højlund. Gabriel and JGM says Højlund. I'd love Højlund, but I also think that maybe there's this perception that he's not quite ready. Sally, the birthday girl, has just gifted 5 United Stand memberships, by the way. Legend. Thank you very much, Sally. On the Mason Greenwood question that came in, I think it was Mandy who asked. It's gone very quiet on Mason Greenwood, but I can only tell you what we were told a few weeks ago. Very unlikely that he would be back on pre-season tour with Manchester United. Very, very unlikely. Not impossible, but unlikely. The most logical move is a loan move abroad for a year. And then United can monitor it and go, do we bring him back in a year or do we sell him? The thing is, time is funny, isn't it? If you think about when your cat dies, all right, let's say goldfish. If you have a goldfish and it dies, you're sad for a short period of time, 5 minutes, I don't know. You are sad for a bit, and then you get over it. That's just life. That's just human nature. If Mason Greenwood went on loan to Lazio for a year and scored 20 goals and was one of the best strikers in Italy, the clamour to give him a chance at Man United in the summer would grow. And maybe in a year's time, he would be given another chance because it's far enough away from what happened. I don't know. But I think I certainly don't think United will sell Greenwood in the summer. I think they'll loan him. Do you think Ivan Toney would be a good second option in January? James, I just don't think United will go near that. And look, I don't know what's going on with him, Toney, but obviously he needs a bit of support around what's gone on as well. And that's not to say that United wouldn't want to give him that support, but ultimately it's up to Ten Hag. We are used by players and teams when it comes to transfers and robbed when we want a player. This needs to change, says Brian. And why of a sudden has it gone quiet for Casido? No one appears to be targeting him. Would we be better for United to go in for him for over Rice? Is FIFA crazy? Well, look, Casido did sign a very big contract with Brighton in January. Now, that might mean that he's going to stay another year. I don't have particularly good links with Brighton. And the people I speak to about Man United transfers have said that United are not in for Caicedo. So I don't know whether that's... We tried to... obviously we were linked to him before he went to Brighton. But that might be because he's not leaving Brighton. Brighton are in the Europa League. He might fancy another year at Brighton on the new contract he's got. On the other hand, I think if we get Rice, Arsenal will go for Caicedo. Marco Asensio free this summer. Should we get him? I wouldn't, Robin. I wouldn't go for Asensio, but some of you would. 25 years ago tonight, in 99, I was in Barcelona witnessing the miracle, says Red, since 1975. I didn't realise it was 25 years ago tonight, mate. Yep, that means 25 years ago. God, that feels... 25 years ago. 25 years ago. Yeah. No. Can't be 25 years ago. Yeah, it was 25 years ago. You're right. I'm figuring out my age compared to that. No, you're right. 25, yeah. 24 was 99. 24 years ago. Yeah. That's why you threw me. Why all of a sudden has it gone quiet for Caicedo? I've done that one from FIFA Careers. Yeah, well, look, what a night. What a night. I was in Dublin 24 years ago. That's what I mean. When he said it 25 years ago, I was like, no, I wasn't that age. 24 years ago, yeah. Lils was 17 in 99. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you how old I was. I can't believe how old I am, actually. Like Bizza says, I do look good for 60. Right, we're getting to that part of the show now. Chuck me anything. It's Friday night. I only do this on a Friday night, so chuck me some questions. How old was I in 1999? I was only 15 years old. I wasn't. I was at a house party, and we weren't passing the parcel. We were passing something else. I was older than that. What about Thuram from Nice? Good player. Very good player. Just before we get into your chats, and we've got one here coming in the live chat, United Stand Tour, 100 tickets left, not 10. We've got 100 tickets left. This venue is the biggest venue we've ever done. It's going to be a great night. I've told you I'm going to give away the Champions League ball. There's some stuff behind me I'm going to give away on the night. And we've got some other stuff as well. We've got an interactive quiz. You can come up on stage. We've got the end of season awards, which you voted for. Check your emails if you've already got a ticket. If you do buy a ticket, keep checking your emails because you will get one through from us. June the 6th, end of season show live in Dublin town. It's going to be a cracker. And you can get your tickets through the video in the description, the link in the video description, or the live chat. Don't miss it. Great venue, and it's going to be a cracking night, so can't wait. Rice can play forward and drop back to help support Casemiro. Caicedo is now more for his defence. Does he have the creativity to play forward? I think Declan Rice would suit Man United really well, United AV. I have said this before, but I know for a fact at West Ham he's had to be more restrictive to protect the back four because West Ham are a defensive side. I think in a Chelsea team, in an Arsenal team, in a Man United side, you will see a different Declan Rice. He'll still be able to do all the defensive stuff, but I know people who've trained with Declan Rice, and the feedback is some of the stuff he does in training is unbelievable in an offensive way. And I'm not saying he's going around telling people to F off and spitting at them. I mean, like, as an offensive player going forward, he's actually really quite good. Like, technically very good. So I think there's a whole strand to Declan Rice's game in a more attacking side. I guarantee that wherever he goes next year, whether it's Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, wherever, I guarantee in a year's time you'll go, I remember Goldbridge saying that. You know, he's got a side to his game that he's not really allowed to use at West Ham. What you think of Everton's Onana? Well, I heard he's available, Darren. I did hear he's available, but I don't know whether United are interested in him, and I don't know how much Everton would sell him for. I mean, look, Sunday's a very interesting day. Obviously, we'll do the watch-along for Fulham, but I'm going to have a couple of screens up and running because if Everton go down, Leicester go down, Leeds go down, I mean, saw something today that United are interested in Tyler Adams. Harry Kane will wait to come here because he's rat and Glazers stay. Qatar will buy Spurs and he can win trophies there, says Brian. Okay. If we get Al-Thani, do you think we could make a move for Haaland? No, Rory. And did you read about King Eric fighting the horse on the beach? Says Mindful. I didn't, but nothing surprises me. Imagine Thuram, Rabiot, Guerrera and Tillemans all for free. They thump Fred, Martial, McTominay, Donny. They could be our perfect squad. Depthers, says Anthony. And Casido is very versatile hit too. He has been doing the right back the way Man City do it and have been impressed, says Brian. And Everton wants 60 million for Onana. Not happening, says Alex. Yeah, but if they get relegated, they won't. That's what I mean. Like, you know, if you get relegated, you've got to cash in. A lot of them have got it in their contract. Rabiot and Asensio for free. We have to get those done, says Red. Well, you know, Rabiot is an interesting one because if you get Mount and Rice, you don't get Rabiot, do you? Look, my concerns about Rabiot are that it's just about money. It just seems to be about money for him. And that worries me. I don't want a player to come for money. The great thing about Declan Rice is where he's leaving West Ham, where he's very much appreciated and very happy, but he's leaving West Ham because he wants to make a step up. So he's going to be hungry to take a step up. Rabiot has already played for Juventus and PSG. The next move is about, I'm a free transfer money, isn't it? If we get Ramos, I bet you Bruno and Delo have played a part in that, says Leo J. How much do you think Rice will go for? I think 80 is what he'll go for with add-ons, yeah. Which is basically what we played for Anthony from Ajax. So, you know, I'd rather sign Rabiot than Mount, says Marvin AM. Well, different players. Mount will play as a more attacking player, I think. Ironic, no answer or news on the takeover, and you start talking to players and transfer. It's just a diversion away from the Glazers so you don't go in on them, says Nathan. And right now, my realistic ideal window is Kane, Rice, Mount and Kim Min-jae. Maybe 250 to 280 less, 100 million sales, so net outlay of 150 to 180, says Rory C. Everton's wage is 90 to 95% of their revenue. There will be a fire sale if they get relegated, says the Inquisition. I think Everton are going to stay up. Beat Bournemouth and they stay up at home. I think Everton will stay up. The new Champions League format is not next year, it's the year after. And Mandy says, will Liam and Noel make a comeback? They are actually talking about it now. And the super speed of your typing, Mark. Did you do it at school? Mandy, I don't know what you're talking about. Luton or Coventry tomorrow, says a Toro. For locality, probably Coventry, because it's just down the road. But I really don't care. Who would have been a better signing, Arnautovic or Weghorst, says Red Devil? Look, Arnautovic is a better player than Weghorst. He is. But I didn't want Arnautovic, so, you know. Torsten says we won't get Kane. If we don't get Harry Kane, I'm quite excited by that. You know, because we could get somebody worse. We could get somebody better. I really think Højlund is a risk worth taking, Mark says. I like Højlund. I do like Højlund. And, you know, people can say, I bet you've never seen him play. If you haven't watched him play, that's up to you. But I have watched him play. And I like him. I like what he is. I think he's going to get better. I think Ten Hag likes him as well. I just think he knows he's not ready to be our striker yet because he's still very much developmental. But I like him. I do like him. I don't know whether you could buy him and stick him up front in the Premier League. It'd be hard to do that. I don't think he's ready for that. But I do like him. And I'd like us to get hold of him because I do think that in 2 or 3 years' time you'll be talking about a top striker. It might just not be the right time. You know, ships in the night like Pochettino. It's never the right time. Maybe next summer Højlund is ready to go and we don't need a striker because we bought one this year. I don't know, but I don't think he's ready to be Man United's number 9 yet, which is a shame because. Yeah, Luke says, do you like my hoodie? I can't see it, Luke. And Ten Hag is looking at Taylor Booth, young American midfielder playing in Holland, I think, says Lee. And do you think Mason could get slowly integrated, says Rue? I don't think so. I don't see Mason Greenwood at Man United next season. Yeah, I don't. But I might be wrong. Hi Mark, will we win a trophy next season, says Bashir. And the big reason I don't think Mason Greenwood will be at Man United, well no, it's not the big reason. One reason I don't think Mason Greenwood will be at Man United next season is because there are people in that dressing room who don't want Mason Greenwood back there next season. And I think the dressing room is an important thing. It's all going off on ITV, isn't it? Oh dear. Another cover up by the looks of it. Not massively interested, if I'm being honest. Let me just have a quick check here. Frankie de Jong? Nah. No, look, I think Man United would be all over Frankie de Jong because Erik ten Hag really wants him. But I think thankfully, I don't think we'll have a Frankie de Jong saga this morning because I don't think we'll have a Frankie de Jong saga this summer because he's not going to leave Barcelona and they don't want to sell him. Mark, would you be tempted to buy Ferguson early to do a deal for him to stay at Brighton on loan for a year or two, says Glenny Boy. I don't think Brighton would do that deal. Do you expect quick transfers if Sir Jim becomes the owner, says Mehdi? I think there's going to be quick transfers no matter what, mate. Yeah, I do. Don't laugh at my pyjama shorts. These are pyjama shorts. Nearly fell over them. Yeah, I think... Why would Brighton do a deal with Man United this summer and get him loaned back? Because Man United would probably say, we'll give you 50 million now and you can have him back for a year. And Brighton would say, go forth and prosper because we can not do that deal now and in a year's time you'll be coming back and we'll be saying 70 million. So... Sorry, something's really getting on my nerves. It's one of my pet hates, that is. It's like literally, the kitchen's about 20 metres away. And I can hear, I've said this before, it really grinds my gears, right? And I'm in a good mood, right? All I can hear from the kitchen is I know who it is, right? But I'll call him a prat. With their spoon, every time they eat their bloody Weetabix, and why are you eating Weetabix at 9 o'clock at night? Every time they're eating the Weetabix, they're banging the side of the bowl. You're like Lukaku in his first touch. Why have you got to touch the bowl? I never touch the bowl. Never. Just scoop it and eat it. Why are you going bang every time? And it rings round the house like a bloody siren. It does my head in. Did you ever... It is one of my biggest pet... Tell us your pet hates. Tell us your illogical pet hates. Because my illogical pet hates is... I've been in hotels with people doing it. I'll get up and walk out. I can't listen to that. It just winds me up. Why are you so rubbish at holding a spoon? The bowl... There's a massive area of space. Why are you whacking it every time you take something out of a bowl? Bloody, I wouldn't trust you lot with a penalty. Did you ever see Oasis or The Verve live? Says Mike. I did see Oasis numerous times live, yes. So I can say I'm one of those, Mike. I can. It's not Seb. Seb's asleep. It's not Sleb. Loud chewing, says Safe. People eating loudly, says Joe. Yeah, there's a few people going on with that one. Crunching on crisps, same theme, says David. People speaking with their mouth full, eating like a dog, says Garrett. There's a lot of people who don't like people. This is why I get a few brand deals, right? And they go, it's food. Eat on stream. And I'm like, I've actually saw a few years ago, there was a football channel called The Football Republic. And they did watch-alongs. And they'd eat pizza while they were watching it, and someone sent me a clip, and I went, I could not watch that. I can't watch somebody eating pizza going, yeah, he should have passed that. Get out. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And whenever I do eat, I normally mute it. Lone players, Alanga, Plestri to Brighton, says Darker. When people drink and go, after every sip. Yeah, well, I do that. It's an age thing. I sometimes get up and go, ooh, as well now. The older you get. People breathing like they're dying, says FIFA Crazy. That's asthma. Asthma. I'm encouraged by this. I mean, it's the back end of the show now. But I absolutely love this because I love to hear that I am just like everybody else and have irrational, illogical pet hates. And that one does my head in. The sound of a spoon hitting a bowl, I can hear from half a mile away. A shark can apparently smell blood a mile away. Goldbridge can hear a twat who can't eat cereal properly with their bowl banging the side of it from a mile away. The 40 plus years I've watched United, the biggest flop was Gary Birtles. Who's your worst ever flop, says Darren. That's a good question. Worst ever flop for Manchester United. I mean, I think the easy ones are like Jemba and Obertan and, Beppe or whatever his name was. But there are bigger flops than that are just disappointing. I felt that Varane was a disappointing flop. I really wanted him to do well. Schweinsteiger as well. I was so excited about it. I think for me, the bigger flops are the ones that don't live up to the expectations that you've got. And Varane, I thought, we had Beckham, Scholes, Keane and Giggs, and we bought Varane. I was like, oh my God. I don't know how he's going to do it, but we're going to dominate football. And it just didn't work. Why can't United... Di Maria is a good one. Sanchez is another one, yeah. Why can't United's scouting department be like Brighton's using advanced data and analytics as average Joe? Because they're about 2 or 3 years ahead of everyone else. My pet hate is the fact I have to work 6 days a week, says Mup. And people on phones in restaurants, very rude, says Brian. You get that on trains. People, sometimes you sat on a train, and look, I'm very switched on because I'll always have headphones. But I used to sometimes get caught out on a train where I didn't have any headphones, and somebody, and I'm not going to describe them, but it's normally the same sort of description. They get on and they're on the phone, and they think that the whole carriage wants to hear to their conversation, and it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because ultimately they are on the phone just talking loudly, and the way to solve it makes you worse than them. But yeah, it is. Sniffing is Patrick, that's the biggest one. Like where I live, like you get on the train and 2 stops further down from me is quite a nice area, and they get on. So it's not like they're they're probably quite wealthy, sniffing all the way in. Just blow your fucking nose. Stop sniffing every 5 seconds. Why are you going like this? Just blow your fucking nose. Blow it. Just blow your nose, or take a big sniff and swallow it, but stop ruining it for everybody else. Sign Rice, Kane and Mount and City are in the mud, says... You know what? I wouldn't do it because it's like... I don't want, people on Twitter saying Goldbridge is really rude on a train. But if somebody said, just blow your fucking nose, I'd stand up and go, yes, finally, come on. What a great statement. People who say opposed to instead of supposed to. Luke, that's very, very technical. Cokeheads, mate. No, I think they genuinely do have a cold, like it's the cold season. People not wearing deodorant, says Alex. Whoa, that's a tough one, That's a tough one. I was in a job once, and there was this guy who stunk of BO, and everybody knew it. And the boss actually took him into an office and said, you smell. I'd advise you to go down the shop and buy some Lynx Africa. You probably wouldn't get away with that now. This was in the 90s. But... I think the thing is they must know. Like I very rarely have had this, but I don't really get it. I don't really get that anyway. But it did happen once, and I was like, oh God, I can smell it. Has anyone got any deodorant? So those people must walk around going, oh, I smell great. Oh God, get some right guard on. Sorry, Mark, I'm a sniffer, says Ben. Okay, sounds great. Yeah. I actually think people should be told about personal hygiene. I do. It's like not brushing your teeth. I got kicked out of an English class, English literature class, at school. It's probably why I still to this day don't understand why my comprehensive school has not invited me back. Like, it's ridiculous. They should have a statue outside. I don't know why. They should have me on my knees going back of the net. Like, what an inspiration. 2-till comprehensive. Why have you not got a statue? I should be back there, right? But one of the reasons I might not be back there was I was in an English literature class, and I was in one of those moods, and the English, it was one of those days. It was going this way, and the English teacher, I was a bit of a joker sometimes. I did try and crack jokes. I wasn't really that rude. I was a little bit shy actually up until about the age of 16, but I did have a bit of a lip, and the teacher said something, and I cracked a joke, and a few people laughed, and he didn't like it, so he used his authority to try and undermine me. And he came over and he cracked a funny joke back, but it was an authoritative joke. There was no way I could respond to it. But he came over to me to do it, and I'm not joking. I like a coffee, but coffee messes your breath up big time. You've got to whack a mint in or something. So he breathed on me, and I went, "God, your breath stinks of shit," and the whole class laughed. And you know what? It was an easy joke, and the whole class laughed. And there was only going to be one outcome, sent to the headmaster. But yeah. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, but bad breath. Bad breath's a bad thing as well. I would rather tell somebody their breath smells of shit or they smell of BO, because I think you're doing them a favour. It's like them walking along and dropping their wallet on the floor. You've dropped your wallet. There's 50 quid in it. You know, I think it's the same. People who cough and don't cover their mouths is United. And SJ, Sai, welcome to the Members Club. We should get Vitor Roque. He will be the future striker. Scouts unsure who's best, Vitor Roque or Hendricks, says Robin. Hendricks gone to Madrid, hasn't he? Any Americans you take in the team? Much love from California, says Ray. People chewing gum loudly, just close your mouth, says Alex. I've never had a problem with gum chewers because of Sir Alex. Yeah, I've never had a problem with that. Sometimes Dusan says it's uncomfortable, but sometimes it's got to be said. You know what? Bad smell from the mouth or the armpits is the same as having a bad player in your football team. Do you be polite and go, you know what, let's just put up with it? Or do you go, you're not good enough? And I'm a little bit like you. I'm a little bit like that. I am a little bit like that. I am very empathetic. I am very respectful, and I am very loyal. So I don't want to be sometimes blunt with people, but actually, it sometimes is the best way. It is. Yeah. Honestly, you hyping us up a bit to let us down is a joke, says Parth. Yeah, but that's because you're thick, mate. I'm not taking any blame for that. So Parth is saying that I hype people up and then let you down. I'm not hyping you up. We are in for Mason Mount, but he might sign a new contract at Chelsea. I'm not hyping you up. We're definitely in for Declan Rice, but it's a competitive thing. We might not get him. The sale of Man United, I've never said we're being bought by Qatar. All I did is a video the other day where a credible UK newspaper said there could be news on Friday. And that's what I said. And I also said it's probably linked with us getting the point against Chelsea, which we did. But, what grinds my gears is football owners who overstay their welcome, says Brian. Yeah. What grinds my gears is, in a footballing sense, is the PR. I can't be arsed with it. You know when a player's not good enough or crap and they start doing positive PR, which you literally cannot say you're still crap to. And we've all seen it. And it happens with England a lot as well. Southgate's brilliant at it. Really bad at your job, but then you go and do something like charity work or something where you literally cannot criticise them. And I'm like, that, it does... Look, the charity work's great. But I do a charity stream every year. I've raised over 100 grand. I still get called a Forest fan. I still get loads of shit from people who clip me up. So at the end of the day, you know, charity work's not a bloody bulletproof vest, and everybody should be doing it anyway. But it does grind my gears a bit in a footballing sense that you've got somebody who's absolutely terrible at their job, and then you log on Twitter and there they are doing something that you actually would be a knobhead if you didn't like it. Like, you have to go, yeah. But a lot of the time, and I know this for a fact, a lot of the time it happens with people who are underperforming because they're doing it for positive PR. They've got an agency saying, go and do this, it'll be great for your PR. We should push for Gift Urban. His career stats so far are incredible, says Michael. You're not the first person to say that. And sliders in restaurants don't want to look at weird feet while eating, thanks, says Rudolph the Red. That's very specific. Some people actually find feet a fetish. And Michael, we've done that one from Michael. Thank you very much. And what might you've done that one as well. Thank you very much. Well, look, I've probably stayed a bit. The funny thing is, when we was talking about football, we had 15,000 people watching. It's now gone down to 14,000. So some people don't like the going for Goldbridge stuff. But look, this is the sort of stuff I do on the tour as well. But it's very football related. So, you know, I make it very football related. Don't forget to get your tickets for Dublin. We've nearly sold out. I want to see you there. Links in the live chat and it's in the video description. And once you've bought your tickets, keep checking your emails because you will get 10 questions to answer on the night. We'll be getting people up on stage as well. It's going to be a great night. I'm looking forward to it. So don't forget, it's the weekend. You've got some cash in the pocket. Get yourself a ticket for the United Stand end of season show. It's going to be great. Take care, everyone. I always enjoy the Friday night. Have a great weekend. I'll be back. I've just realised, like a prat, that I haven't previewed the Fulham game. So I should have done that tonight. I will put that up tomorrow afternoon. But we'll be live in the morning with the normal 10 o'clock show anyway. So I will see you then. Thanks, everyone. Smash a like. Get your tickets if you can. Live description or live chat. And you're legends as always. I'll speak to you in a bit.